Hi, hello, and good evening. Wow, we're pretty on time. We said 10:30. It's 10:31. Okay, we're crushing it. That's because we were just with you, discussing Challenge USA 2. But what are we getting into tonight? We are talking about last night's episode of Big Brother 25, right? Where we saw Miss Felicia win HOH, which was like absolutely fantastic, even though we already knew about this by Friday morning. We had already celebrated. Okay, the streamers had come down by the time this Sunday night episode aired. But it was certainly very fun to watch. So certainly some things to get into around that. And then, of course, getting into some spoilers and discussing now all of the flip-flopping back and forth, who won veto, how today's veto ceremony went, and possibly most intriguing of all, we are promised to get the lore behind the pink hat. So lots to get into tonight. So let's get started. It's like the extended theme. I am Kyle Petty, and I'm joined, as always, by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Regino, and this is Strat Chat. Arguably your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on all the socials at Strat Chat Pod. How's it going over on TikTok? Are we still blowing up? Everybody
We're
cares
having a
about
great
us
time
all
on
of a sudden?
TikTok.
Yeah, lots of action. We love chatting about claim to fame as well, and that is our big claim to fame on TikTok. Hey, sharp on a Monday, sharp on a Monday. Don't be silly. So how did this episode kick off? It doesn't matter. Felicia won HOH in this snot competition, right? We had to hit a little ball down the thing and it bounce off some noses and some other triangles and things. And whoever had the highest number obviously won HOH. We've seen variations of this before. Probably the most exciting part about this one for me was the fact that it came to us from the Humiliverse. And by winning also came with some consequences. For 24 hours, whenever Big Brother requested, aka Mr. B requested,
Mr. B.
She had to get up and be snotted, but she got to bring a friend every time she did it. So that was exciting too. What did you think of even that? I would love a punishment like this. That is the true Big Brother experience for me.
So I know that the snotting and all the goo or whatever, it's corny and it's lame and it's juvenile. But me, as somebody who grew up watching Slime Time Live, this is the dream punishment.
Yes,
this is literally my dream punishment. Slime me, please. I'm begging you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I had the same thought because I was like, this is bringing me back to Nickelodeon and this is fun. And honestly, of all the people in there, Felicia is such a good sport. It was so fun to watch her be the one to constantly get it and constantly be picking other house guests to have this experience with her. How fun is that? That's so awesome.
I would be in there please, Miss Felicia, pick me, please.
It was very fun. I loved it. What else I loved about this competition was the randomness attached. I was being dyslexic with my syllables. That's a new one. Maybe not so sharp on a Monday. But the fact that you're hitting your ball, and because each slot had such varying numbers, this was kind of like a slant on what we're used to seeing, where accuracy was always key. This one, it felt very, very random, and very exciting. Very exciting. Hi, Brianna. Yes, we are so happy for Felicia. So happy for Felicia.
Literally, I think I opened up my phone. It was the first tweet that I saw, and I immediately texted both of you.
Yeah,
I
I made sure I
know.
stayed up for it. I was watching TV and then I also had the feeds up and I was like, the second it comes up, I just want to see where that key is.
Not people
Um,
really coming in just for the hat story.
Listen, I
please
told
do
you.
not validate John with this
Wow.
hat stuff.
Wow.
But wow, I guess we have to begin with the
Okay,
hat
go
story because
ahead.
we
Go
don't want to
ahead.
waste Kyler's time if we don't watch the Big Brother. So if you must know about the hat, we are being interrupted because of same.
Okay, I got this hat at my brother's 40th birthday party. His wife, my sister-in-law, threw a cowboy themed birthday party for him where she rented out a mechanical bull that was set up in their backyard. It was a lot of fun. And I rode the mechanical bull and I lasted longer than anybody. So I had my choice of all the cowboy hats that I wanted. I picked the pink one. This is the one that called to me. And I decided this would be my new podcasting hat that I would wear for all of our streams. Not a very exciting story. Yeah, not a very exciting story, I know. But
Now, why did you
I
select?
did win the mechanical bull, competition. So
Why is this
Tyler,
the
can you
winning
believe you
hat
came
color?
back for that?
No.
wow, you're so mean.
Well, why was pink the winning hat color? Is that because
'cause
you
there
have an affinity towards the Lady Barbie?
No,
The Lady
actually,
Barbie.
it's really because there was no purple option. It was
Mm.
pink, and yeah, I guess I suppose the Barbie, movie release recently coming out had something to do with it. I guess maybe that's why it called to me the way it did. But
Right, and
this has
pink is
now
not
become my pod
off-brand.
hat. Yeah,
Right. Pink is
yeah,
part of the pod colors. That's how you directed my nails to be this week.
that's right.
Very pod
I picked
friendly.
your nail colors.
Yeah, so like John loves pink, so
Pink and purple. Hell yeah.
all right, Barbie. So there, that's that with the hat. Except I do feel like we're gonna have to revisit it at the end because no, Liz is here. Liz was here.
She's
got
here. She's here.
Energy.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I was like, oh my gosh, Liz wasn't here. We're gonna have to do this hat story again. But all right, we're good. And now Kyler can go to bed.
Thank you,
Bye,
Kyler.
Great
See you
story.
next
Thank you.
week.
Oh man, I have like a whole new love for Kyler too now, just for coming in just to hear that story.
You're
Kyler had to
so
wait.
validated. Wow.
Kyler had to wait.
Oh,
Kyler had to
wow.
wait 45 minutes, almost 45 minutes to hear that story, and did. And so I love you, Kyler.
And we mocked the whole thing. We mocked it all. Nobody's
sure
coming
did.
back for that. If you're coming back for the hat, you're crazy. Wow. Oh, that's great.
This is,
Well, thanks
but this
for
is why
hanging.
people.
That's really
Yeah,
great.
this is why people like us for our stupidity. So
That's why I like
I'm
you.
just yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. That's why we're friends. Friends
Oh,
for more than
gosh.
15 years.
So stupid. Wow. So where are we now? All right, Felicia won.
She sure did.
Right. And we got some resolution to some of the other things we saw on feeds, right? There's been a lot of clips circulating about Mama Felicia looking for seasonings, okay? Because the food in the Big Brother house is apparently very bland.
I am so angry at production for not putting this in the episode because every
Right?
time I have watched this clip, it has put the biggest smile on my face.
I said that to my mother. I said, this is the most wholesome thing I've watched coming out of a Big Brother house ever. Like to see them all cheering over Felicia getting these seasonings. And when you know all that backstory that comes with it, oh man, what a great moment.
She was so
Yeah.
happy. Oh, I love her so much.
Yeah.
And
really,
this is
really
like
fantastic.
I have to tell you too that like I hope that this sort of thing, like the reaction to Felicia, like I hope that this leads Big Brother to continue to cast older people on the show because
Yes.
Felicia has been such a star on this show and has brought so much to the season. Like this season would not be the same without her.
Everybody
so
across the board is so endeared towards her and for
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
But like she's such a crowd favorite.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why we should only be casting one older. I don't even want to refer to her as like an older person. Like this is supposed to be a microcosm of society at large, right? Like, and believe it or not, there's older people out there in the world. You know what I mean? Like there shouldn't be
older,
one
capable
person.
people who can play this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that Felicia has come in, made such an impact even before she won this HOH. She's already been a star on the season, and now she's in a position of power and making, big decisions in the game. Like, there's no reason why we shouldn't have an older representation in the house every single season. And
Absolutely.
Felicia and people like Sari and even Heisem, I know he's not as old as Felicia, but like, and he might be out the door this week. We'll see. Who knows? But
But
like,
he's still like 20 years older than like the median age,
Right.
Right,
So like
right,
it's
right.
still very significant. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So love Felicia. Love
Um,
Felicia.
Absolutely. So even with that, so talking about Felicia's gameplay and everything she does there was her big plan this week was to backdoor Heisem. And we started to see some of that some of those conversations starting in this episode. It did tickle me pink though to see how many times Heisem was just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be totally safe. This is really, really fantastic."
Oh.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, professors all the way, professors. This hurt a little bit. Only because like I could see that being me, thinking that people are so down for me, like supporting me so hard. I just want to be like that good alliance member in my DR, sticking true. So when they get out of this house, they're gonna know I was the real one. Meanwhile, everyone was working against me from go. Damn.
Yikes. Big yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you're talking about Heisem, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Heisem,
saying this stuff because we did see right at the end of last week him kind of going to other people on the other side of the house, being like, "Well, I don't want to be stuck with these people. Like, I want to work with people that can win competitions." Meanwhile, Felicia's the new HOH.
Right.
Yeah, immediately won a competition.
We did see that. We were very vocal about not liking it, but what's also though about that is that you don't get the context what that comment was like. Do we really know that that's how he feels, or did he just say that to try and gain favor with the other side?
Well, I've seen some
Can we argue that?
conversation. I've seen some things on Twitter now where Heisem had a conversation with America, America the player, not the country, in the hammock out in the yard. I feel like that has to be clarified sometimes because people
It
do
does,
like to
'cause
go
people
on
can
feeds
think you're
to talk
talking
to
to the
America.
feeds.
Yeah. But America and Heisem were out in the backyard talking, and even then he was saying like how he felt like he was stuck with the people he was working with and stuff. And like this has been in the last couple of days, so like from what I've
But did he
been
ever
seeing
say
on Twitter, so
PR? Did he say it to us? Because that's
I
what I
don't.
mean.
I don't.
Like, what if that's
Yeah,
part of his game?
I don't
To make
remember.
so that he
and
can
that is
maybe
fair.
just ride the
Yeah,
middle for a little, right? Because like I
that is
was
a fair
pretty
point.
vocal on Thursday about how much I didn't like that he was saying this, but like the more you think about it, it's like, well, what do you say? Because the house doesn't usually split that hard week one.
True.
You'll have
true.
alliances and things, but like it was like wild that
Yeah,
first
but
week, and it was very, very clear where everybody stood. So like how do you now play the middle? Like that could have been part of it.
That's true. No, that's true. And see, that's the thing. There is a lot of back and forth in my mind about Heisem, to be honest. I don't think it's necessarily the wrong decision. I know there's people on Twitter saying like, how could the Alliance be targeting Heisem so early? Like they still need these numbers and blah, blah, blah. But I guess I feel like I remember a conversation that was being had by the professors in the HOH room during Heisem's week, where he was telling all of them, like, don't make any other alliances. What we say in this room stays in this room. And so it feels kind of sloppy to me because it's like, if you're going out there saying these things about your own alliance, like at some point it's going to get back to one of them. So, because I do also remember him kind of saying like, find another person outside of the alliance, just one person to work with. But it seems like Heisem has done that with multiple people already, which makes it look like he's not just trying to like form one connection outside of the alliance. He's trying to form another alliance outside of the alliance. You know, like,
and if I can get you to not make any alliances, you'll never find out that I've been making other alliances.
Yeah.
Like there is a sort of smarts to it, and it's like, but Gina, I hate to cut you off. I don't know if you were getting ready to say something, but I do want to circle back to something that John said there, because like, everyone keeps saying like, oh, this might be too early to be targeting Heisem. And it's like, yeah, that's really, really easy to say in week 3. But how many times do we get to week 7 and say, You should have done this a long time ago. So at what point is really the right point? Like, let's
It's
also
like
be
the comp wins in and of itself. Like we saw it happen in 23 with
we see it all
Christian.
the time.
That it was like they got Christian out pre-jury. If they hadn't, Christian has been playing carnival games in his backyard since years before he ever got cast on the show. He was
Right.
going to win out.
Right.
Michael last season almost won. You know, like they needed the double
Tie
eviction to
in
get rid of him.
Canada. Run
Yeah.
out. Like
Exactly.
right. So it's like, are you
Yeah.
is it really too early? I don't know.
And I think and I think that we recently spoke about how it's probably important. It seems like Heisem would be a bitter juror with his vote, and that's the thing. Like, you can look at where we are today on day 20 something, whatever, you know, wherever we're at. I guess it's like day 20 or so, right? And there, day 19, day 20, but
is that it? For all that's happened, if it's only day 19
well, I guess
or
the
20
season
is so stupid. I know
the season started August 2nd, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, so from this point in the game to the very end of the game, which is going to be 100 days, that feels like a long time. But it's not that we're not that far away, especially because of a player being expelled, rightfully being expelled.
Mm-hmm.
We're not that far off from jury. So while you think, okay, we have all this time to get rid of Heisem before it really makes a difference, you don't have that much time before you have to get him out before jury, where people like Sari and Felicia and Izzy are thinking, we have to get him out now, otherwise he's going to be bitter. He could potentially poison the jury and influence other votes. Like, it feels early, but I don't know if it really is that early, because if you leave him in this week, he might win the next HOH, and then maybe the next week he wins veto. We've already seen he's a good competitor.
Now you're stuck.
He's finished in the top, 1 or 2 every week, every competition. It feels like, so it's like, it feels early, but I don't think it really is that early when you really break it down week by week.
Yeah. But he does feel super, super comfortable. And I guess there'd be no reason for him to think otherwise, right? Everyone's telling him everything that he wants to hear. We did see Miss Felicia having a conversation with Cameron, like letting him know that he was going to be the pawn. And I think people need to be a little bit more gentle when they're like telling you they're going to be the pawn. Like, oh, it's not a big deal. You already know there's another target. And it's like, yeah, but stop. Because the underlying message here is that you're still expendable to me.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to make this person feel good. As if like, oh my gosh, like, you're so important to my game. Yes, you're important to my game because you're someone I can get rid of. And I can also just toss you away. You're invaluable. And well, I guess the same word. Unvaluable, worthless. Oof, not so sharp on a Monday. But you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Yes. So it's like, stop trying to make people feel good about this, because it sucks. Because there's no way you would put Sari up as a pawn. So please.
Yeah.
That's really it from this episode for me. Oh, unless you want to talk about Jared and Blue.
See,
I
wonder.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I wonder how genuine this really is from Blue, though.
I don't think it is.
Well, yeah, because she did. I think early on she did say that she was interested in showmances, but like multiple showmances to like help her game, not like a showmance that actually would like that she's like into, that like after the house, everybody's out of the house, the game's over, like she wants to continue. It's just like, I'm going to use showmances, multiple, to further my game if I can. But I did see some stuff on Twitter that apparently Jared has somehow, I don't know what this is about. I haven't found the full context, but apparently Jared has lied to Sari about something in an effort to protect Blue in some way, which causes something interesting to me if Jared is now going to be lying to his mother in there.
Well, Jared has a bigger problem than that, because Jared, every time he talks to Blue, is like, I have this really big secret that I'm just dying to tell you, and I can't tell you. I'll give you some hints of what it is, but I can't tell you this big secret I have.
So
shut up. Shut up.
We had such high hopes for Jared, and I feel like everything he's given us has just not been it all season.
Not to mention just some of the icky stuff he's been saying in general in relation to women inside and outside of the house. But
yeah. Yuck. Yeah, Team Dunphy does not look so great. You got Izzy though. You got Izzy.
I gotta tell you though, from Twitter and everything, I'm not feeling confident about anybody that's still not in black and white on my card there.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely taking a hit this
Okay.
week. I don't have a shot. Oh, well, I guess that's almost a spoiler yet. We're not really there yet. Anyway, so yeah, who's on the block? How does this episode end? So we can move on. We've got
So
Jag and Cameron.
Yep.
Jag and Cameron. Yeah. And that feels like 3 weeks ago with everything.
Truly,
else
so much in the last 48 hours has gone down in this stupid house. Everyone is chaotic. Everyone's a mess.
I was sitting down in the living room before we even streamed, and I saw that Big Brother had tweeted, like it said 4 minutes ago, "Oh, BB Felicia has won HOH," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Did my Twitter not refresh?" And I was like, "Where am I?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, right, because that just aired last night." The casuals, they have no idea what they're missing.
And listen, like the casuals usually get a very different show, but like, I'm sorry, I don't know why we're harping on fake showmances and 20 minutes of these stupid competitions and hugging in the living room for 45 minutes after an eviction when the feeds are giving golden content. Why are we not seeing more of this chaos on the edit? Why are we not seeing more Izzy? Why are we not seeing more of the flip-flopping that's happening? There's so much on feeds that casuals just have no clue what's happening in this game.
Right. You're getting less than half the story. But I guess with that is where our casuals can click out. If you're listening audio only, say goodbye to us. Find us on our socials at Strat Chat Pod. Same thing to you video peoples. We are switching over. We're going to get into all this feed stuff because there's way more to talk about there.
Yeah.
And that's it. We're done. We're switching. So if you're here, you're here. So
spoilers. Boop boop boop
yeah,
boop.
Boop boop bye bye.
Wee-oo.
Stupid. So obviously the plan now to backdoor Heisem is in full effect because Veto was played, right? And we know that was won by Jag. Obviously took himself off, and then Miss Felicia on this afternoon put up Heisem. This left the feeds being down for what? It was like 2 hours or so almost.
Something
right?
like that.
Yeah, something like that. Because apparently
we lost
there was
all the aftermath because stupid Skippy didn't want to turn the feeds back on.
Well, you know, that's fair. That's fair. It gives us a reason to watch on Wednesday.
Give us such a truncated version of whatever happened.
It's true. But it does make me actually excited about a Wednesday. I feel like that's the most throwaway episode of the week.
But I don't think we're gonna get that on Wednesday. I think we'll get that on Thursday because Wednesday always ends with, and now these are the new nominees. You know? I feel like anything that happens after that, we're gonna get on Thursday.
That is something, yeah. Or they may just give us a cliffhanger. You know, that's their other fun thing, right? The Veto cliffhanger.
I hate the Veto cliffhanger.
Honestly,
if they edit this correctly, that's probably exactly what they're gonna do because there is so much. Literally on Wednesday, like on Wednesday's episode, on like Sunday, as this was all like playing out, freaking I was the target at one point. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, where are we landing?
So ridiculous.
I'm so curious to find out how we got to this circle of Heisem's the back door to now we're targeting Red to now we're targeting America. I think Mimi's name came up at one point.
Every single person.
No.
Kyle, literally every person in the house was the target at one point. Like they cycled through every single person.
Yeah.
I think their issue with Mimi is the fact that she just like keeps to herself, so they don't know if they can trust her because she's not really like giving them much.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. There's so much to unpack. I'm not caught up on everything.
Right, if she's not giving anyone anything, then like what difference does it make?
For whatever reason, they feel like they can't trust her.
That's...
But we talked about this a little bit off stream yesterday, and I don't know the full 100% details of how this all went down, but a lot of the flip-flopping started with what actually was a joke because we were talking about Corey a couple of streams ago and about how Corey has like this fun, dry sense of humor, and the way that he jokes is like he says everything so like monotone and deadpan and seriously that it's so funny. But jokes like that don't land when you're talking about alliances, and
Oh, I heard yes.
he made some kind of a joke about, like, he was joking with some people that didn't really seem like they were hard on one side of the house or the other, and saying, "Oh, like, we're kind of like playing the middle. I guess we should be our own alliance called the Middlemen. Ha ha ha, so funny." And he
Yeah.
said that in front of I think it was Suri, I don't fully remember, but he said it in front of the wrong person that heard his deadpan, "Oh yeah, my
Yes,
alliance of the
yes.
Middlemen," took it as fact and ran with it, saying, "Well, there's this other alliance that we don't know about. Some of our people are in that. America's in that. Maybe Mimi is in that." And they're hearing, like, crafting this whole scenario based off of a joke that Corey made that they didn't realize was a joke and took it as a real alliance. And that
Yes.
kind of like sent everything into a tailspin.
I forgot all about that. Because I was still so focused on just the Heisem thing, and I just wanted that to be so badly. But yeah, I'm surprised at him for that though, because even
Corey?
as a joke, Corey,
Yeah.
because even as a joke, you would think he'd be a little bit smarter than to joke in that way.
Right. I was gonna say, like,
yeah.
is that a smart joke to make?
Oh, it's
Right.
not.
Gameplay-wise?
This is somebody who is a self-professed like Big Brother fan, right? He said, "I always wanted to be on this, and my brother Zach always wanted to play Survivor." So like, it's not like you're coming from like no foundation of knowledge here. So like, even we would know better than to make a joke like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing I could think is like he just kind of assumed, since that's been his joking style the entire time he's been in there and they're all responding to it, like, "Oh, well, clearly they'll know this is a joke," which obviously not. But
Right.
if I'm like grasping at straws to think about why
Right.
he would say something like that,
Right. Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it too, like grasping at straws. Because like I can see that. I can see
Clamoring
how
for
I can.
anything.
Yeah, I can see how Corey could think that. But I feel like that is not a joke I'd be comfortable making. I'm not
No.
going to just start talking to people about a fake alliance in a joking way. That doesn't maybe include the person that he's talking to, because now you're going to be like,
Right.
well, wait, was he joking or like? Yeah, I don't know. But I've seen a lot of stuff out on Twitter recently about Corey and America getting very close. Have you guys seen that at all?
I have. I think that's it's like the relationship that everybody is trying to force to happen, but like Corey very much is not feeling it. But I feel like the reason why we keep hearing so much about it is because everybody else is always pushing it to Corey. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because from my understanding, because Corey is 21 and America, I don't remember how old she is, but she's old enough that he's like, the age difference is an issue for me. Like, that's not something that I like. I'm not looking for a summer fling. I'm not looking for a showmance. She's too old for me anyway. Like, it's not a thing. But everybody's like, no, Corey in America, Corey in America. So even like on feeds earlier today, Jared and Corey were in a room together and he was like questioning him, like, "Oh, what about this America thing?" And he's like, "There literally is no America thing. There just isn't."
Right. So Liz just commented here. Corey has been smart to leak tons of info to Suri, and Suri really values that, and it has bought him her trust, which is amazing considering at first she thought he was a snake. I do have a question about this though, because I saw a comment on Twitter where it seems like Corey, who has established that he's a huge fan of Suri and would be down to work with her, but I've seen some stuff out there on Twitter. Maybe Liz has seen something. Maybe she can help in the comments, or maybe you guys have seen on Twitter also or on the feeds. But I've seen some like comments out there on Twitter where Corey has been coming to Suri and feeding a lot of information to her, but kind of like doing like half the story, so that like Suri is not completely filled in, but still feels like Corey can be trusted and is an ally. Do you guys, have you seen any of that out there on Twitter, or Liz, if in the comments, if you can fill us in at all? Because that's an interesting topic too. Because I've seen rumblings of like of an alliance between like Corey, Izzy, Suri, and Felicia. So like it would be interesting to me if Corey was like kind of like getting into that alliance, but also not giving all of his information away, but still like,
I mean, it's smart,
gaining trust all the way. Yeah,
it's very smart.
Oh, well, here you go, Liz. Suri is wrong to trust Corey completely because he's playing her a bit. So that's interesting to me.
That's very interesting. It makes me more excited to watch more of Corey. I was just too dialed out of the feeds this particular weekend. But
yeah, this was a busy weekend. This week and next weekend, I definitely need to be paying more attention to the feeds because I feel like I'm out of the loop. Like I feel like we know things that are happening.
Today was like the first.
I feel like we know spoilers, but I don't know if we get there.
Able to watch them at all, and I still feel like I missed like 2 seasons worth of content from not watching any of them previously. Like this house is moving so quickly, and there's just so many like parts to it that it's so hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Well, the moving quickly is also interesting because as I was watching even last night's episode, I mean, I heard Cerise saying like, "Oh, we've been wanting Heisem out for a while." Either she said that or Felicia said. I think it was Cerise though, and it's like, what do you mean a while?
Because
Like,
again, Cerise is used to playing such a more fast-paced game, and this is why so many
yes,
people were
and that's what I
concerned
wanted to
about
get
her.
into.
Because
Yes,
it's like,
'cause I-
in Survivor, it's like every night, every other night, you're doing like some kind of like voting people out and whatever, like tribal councils. That like, if there's gonna be a vote flip, okay, we have about 20 minutes to do this. Let's get it done. Whereas now, Cerise is kind of sitting for a full week and has to like adjust her gaming style because to her that is a really long time.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. She's like, "Oh, we've been
Yeah.
wanting out for a while," and it's like it
That's
hasn't actually
multiple
been that
tribals
long.
ago, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
This
I think that's
could-
going to affect her game in the long run.
I totally agree. Like this could definitely be a miscalculation from Cerise because of the amount of time between evictions and or in tribals in Survivor, but also because like Heisem was a secret target for the professors. He's a target already for the other side of the house because he took out Riley. And now if Heisem is gone, does that mean that now more eyes will be on Cerise just because of who she is and people knowing who she is and that she's competed on Survivor and stuff like that? Like, and I do agree with the idea of we have to get Heisem out now because he will be a problem later, and we don't want him around for jury. But also now he could have been a huge shield, especially for somebody like Cerise, where if he goes out this week, now it's like, okay, well, who's the next biggest target? Cerise's name's got to be in the mix, like as the next biggest target after Heisem's gone.
Oddly enough, I don't really hear a lot of people saying her name. Like, I feel like everybody's name in the house has been said by multiple people. I don't really see a lot of people talking about targeting Cerise, which is wild.
Which I really I don't understand that.
And it's the same thing that happens whenever we get like a vet from a previous season in the house, and everybody's like, "Oh, I have to work with them." It's like, no, you want to get rid of them. They know better than you. Why did we let Paul get to final 2 a second time? Why did we let Nicole Franzel win on her second round? Like, why are we allowing that to happen?
Yeah.
I know.
No, it's true. It's true. It's a very this really is an interesting situation. This is unlike. I mean, we've never had somebody like Cerise, right, come into the house. We've had vets from previous seasons. Like this is a weird situation. So
yeah,
I don't really know what to expect here.
Right.
Honestly.
Right. And it's still rather early.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you get Cerise out, but she's already in jury, then Jared has to be the next one. If you find out.
They don't know
if
that.
you find out. Right.
Well, I wonder if let's say Cerise, let's just say, because people know who Cerise is. Let's say Cerise gets voted out. Izzy has been very good about keeping this secret.
Right. Izzy's only really keeping it because of her relationship with Cerise.
Right.
Does she give enough figs to protect Jared still, or will she use it against him?
And honestly, at that point, if Cerise isn't in the house anymore, Jared's probably going to leak it himself.
He might leak it himself, but that is totally true, especially with the clues he's giving to Blue. Yeah.
Right.
My God, Blue's clues. But anyway.
You have to figure out a way to capitalize on that.
Yeah, right. But anyway, so like let's say Cerise
really
goes.
Likes that.
Yeah, that's right up my alley.
Right? But like let's say Cerise goes, right? That's one of Izzy's biggest allies. We saw Izzy have a blowout with Jared, right? Out in the backyard by the hammock, about the way that Jared was speaking to Izzy. Maybe Izzy feels like now I can expose this and take Jared out. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, especially if it's at jury point. You're gonna need anything you can get, right? As ammo. It's perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, I love it. Love it, love it,
it's
love it.
exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's thrilling. Actually, it's thrilling. Um. Well, what else? Ironically, I don't have anything else now. Oh, well,
Well,
I guess
there
we
were-
can just talk about actually the ceremony itself, the fact that Heisem is up there, because there are a lot
Well,
of conversations now of him kind of trying to change the tide already.
I was mad because I really
Yeah.
thought that we were going to get a last minute flip because, again, after all of the chaos of yesterday,
Mm.
they still ended up back in, all right, and then we're going to do Heisem. And then today was the day that I was like really like paying attention to feeds. And there was a moment I like left the room for 2 seconds and all of a sudden I hear Felicia being like, okay, well, did you or did you not tell people that we were taking the votes away from Riley and we were giving them to somebody else? Because I'll turn this whole shit around right now. And I was like, wait a minute. What's happening? And I run back to my computer and Felicia is going in on Jag, like in his face. And she was like, don't you bullshit me. If I find out that you're lying to me,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
turn this shit around right now. And she's freaking out because I it happened so quickly. I literally don't know where all the information came from, but like, I guess she was under the impression that someone must have told her that Jag was telling people that they had flipped the vote to voting out Cameron instead of Riley when they actually hadn't. And like someone leaked this to somebody, but like Felicia was losing her mind. And then you were seeing people running in and out of rooms. Now, Blue was talking to Izzy and Felicia over here. And then Jag is trying to talk to Suri over here. And everybody's trying to do damage control on whatever like this chaos is. And we were all, everybody on BB Twitter was like, wait a minute. So who is the target? Then all of a sudden you see Red running up to Suri. And again, nobody knows about this relationship, but Red is telling Suri like over and over and over again, we have to get Jared next. Jared's got to go. I don't trust Jared. I don't like Jared. Jared's really got to be the next one that we target to Suri. So we're like, oh my God, is she going to end up now losing it and being like, nah, not this one. And now Red's going to be the replacement. Like there were so many moving pieces before the ceremony even happened just today. And it was like, I don't know where this is going.
I really hope we get to see like a good edit of what
I
was
do
happening
just
in there
so
because
much has happened.
yeah, it's been such a confusing week with everything that's happening, and I really like we deserve to know. Like listen, like I get the casuals usually see a different show than the feeders and all that, the people that are really invested in the show, but like we all deserve the casuals and the feeders. We deserve like a real edit that shows us what was really going on in there.
The
I
last
don't want
24
anything to be left
hours
out.
need to be portrayed accurately because it has been bonkers.
Yeah.
So wait. So Felicia started this whole argument with Jag. At what point in this he had already won veto? So how was this going to be?
Yeah,
turned
no, this
around
was
if
today.
she
This was like
unpleased?
maybe 2 hours before the ceremony.
So then, how would this be turned around? So Jag comes down, and who would she want to put
Maybe,
up, or is that the
maybe-
I
confusion?
literally don't know.
Well,
I
I would
don't know what the move
assume
here
yeah,
was.
I would assume that then the target would have shifted to somebody like a Matt or a Blue or something like that. You know, like, oh, like I wanted to put up Heisem, but if you've been saying this and you're going to take yourself down, then I'm going to put up one of your biggest allies. You know what I mean? Like, and Riley's, former allies before she left.
I just saw her, like, she was just yelling at him, and then they were going around and everyone was trying to damage control, and I was like, yeah, but what does this mean? What does this mean?
Right.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah. There's also been a lot of drama around Corey and Heisem, from what I've seen. I was mentioning this to you guys earlier, but it seems like there was some kind of blow up between Corey and Heisem fairly soon after the Luke expulsion. And Heisem has been
any of this.
Yeah.
Well, because
Heisem has
feeds have been cut.
Yeah. Heisem has been trying to apparently use this in his campaign to stay or something like that. Like kind of like talking bad about, and I don't know the full context. I saw some tweets earlier before we talked about the Challenge USA at 9 p.m. tonight. And now everything's buried because the feeds are live and everything's going crazy and things are constantly moving. But apparently there was some kind of blow up between Corey and Heisem. Heisem has now tried to use that against Corey to keep himself in the game. And that has been like a big point of contention. Oh, Liz here says Heisem and Jared were furious with Corey. Liz, do you have any other information on this? Are you more clued into this? Because I've been seeing a lot of
Yeah,
stuff on
Heisem and
Twitter.
Jared were mad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because from what I keep seeing is that any time that this gets brought up, they cut feeds because it's related to Luke somehow.
yeah. Apparently for making the Luke comment into too big of a deal. This has caused people on Twitter to now say, like, it's ridiculous that Corey is being blamed. It seems like Heisem has tried to shift this into being like Corey is somehow to blame for like what Luke said.
Right.
And that he was insensitive or was too like clumsy in the way that he approached the whole situation. So
What?
and
Yeah, I don't.
Oh
I don't
yes,
get
this
it.
was another thing. Heisem was telling Corey like that he gave him a second chance after everything that happened because of how Corey handled the situation. And I remember the video that I did see that I was looking for to show you guys and share with you was that Corey was saying like Heisem is not the person that is in any position to like be giving me a second chance. Like,
Yeah. Like, but also, like, a second chance from what? What does that mean?
right. I don't get it either.
Why does
Right.
Corey
Wasn't it
need a
also
second
Heisem that
chance?
also like claimed that he didn't even hear him say it when he was in the room, clearly emoting towards it?
Right.
That was another big thing I was seeing on Twitter is that like how can Heisem claim that he didn't even hear what was said by Luke and then also go on to say I want to give Corey a second chance for speaking out against what Luke said. Like,
Yeah.
like it
But
doesn't
I just don't understand why Corey needs a second chance. Second chance from
All
what?
right,
What did he
Liz
do
literally
wrong?
just
I
said
don't
this.
understand.
I don't. Yeah. Honestly, it just makes me want Heisem out even more.
Yeah.
The more that we talk about him and all this nonsense. Yeah, Jared and Heisem wanted it to be swept under the rug.
Why?
There's a part of me that understands why Jared might.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jared gave some context to that in his DR, so like I can see that thought process a little bit. What does Heisem have to do with any of this?
I don't know what Heisem has to do with it, unless he intended to
think-
play the game with Luke.
Well, I think that Heisem is grasping at straws here. Because the writing is on the wall. You know, like your own alliance is the one that puts you up. The other side of the house wants you out because you were the one that got Riley out of the house. So let me grasp at straws, put the attention on someone else, try to find something. I'll throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. Try to find a way to keep myself in the house, and then make someone else a target. That's what I think that Heisem is trying to do here, because I've seen a lot of other things about like Heisem lying to pretty much everybody that he speaks to, like telling certain people that I think at one point, like, okay, we saw in this last episode, Heisem going to Felicia and saying that he wanted Jag out, right? He wanted Jag out so bad. He wanted that to be a target. And now he's like going around and telling people that he didn't want Jag out. That was never a target of his. Like, he's just kind of like, I think, grasping at straws, trying to see whatever might stick to help him stay in the game. Because at this point, I don't see who would vote for him to stay. His own alliance put him up, and the whole side wants revenge for Riley being sent out. So, like, let me just cause as much chaos and confusion and controversy to see, like, if anybody takes my side, and then maybe I can stay for another week, and fix my place in the game. So I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I think it's telling too that like every time that they bring this blow up, this that we didn't see between Corey and Heisem, the feeds get cut, right? Because Luke starts to be mentioned, and he was expelled for what he said and did. And so obviously CBS doesn't seem to want us to see any of that. But it's interesting to me that it seems like this is only this has only started to come up now because Heisem is trying to use it to save his game. Like, it's interesting to me that we didn't see anything about this. There was no mention of it on the feeds until now, and Luke has been out of the game for 2 weeks. We didn't know about this until like today or yesterday. That we had no idea that this blow up had occurred between Corey and Heisem. It only is coming out now because Heisem is on the block and trying to save his game.
Well, because it probably happened when the feeds were cut for what, like 24 hours when they did expel Luke?
Right. It's probably when all this stuff went down. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just don't see like what does that do for you even in the long run. So even if it got you out of this, like just I don't know, like it's gross. The whole thing is gross.
Yeah.
Like I don't see what's even redeeming about it. Like even if it did keep you in the game, is that the reason why you wanted to stay in it? And then if you end up winning it, is it also because you changed the tide based on this? I don't like that's the whole thing is just icky.
Yeah, this is not the situation you want to use as strategy.
Right. Like, yeah, like, I
Exactly.
can't find a positive in it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like it. Ugh.
Because again, to Liz's point earlier, like it's not like you're going after. It's not like Corey was sitting there being like, and Luke is a horrible monster of a person. Let me tell you everything that went down. He literally, like, they read the card that said Luke was expelled from the game, and he was like, hey, I actually know what happened. Like, if you guys want more context about, like, why. And just, like, stated it as a fact of, like, Luke said this word,
Right.
and that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
That's it. Just telling the story.
Right. Why would that? It doesn't make anybody look bad. You could have just, I don't know, because no one told it. It's so weird.
It's very.
I'm
weird.
trying to
But
find. I know. I'm just sitting here trying to find logic in something that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully he goes this week, and that's just the end of that.
All I'm going to say is if the last 24 to 48 hours have been any indication, Thursday night's pressure cooker is going to be delicious. It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
I can't wait. That's going to be a fun stream too. It's amazing to me also that Cameron is really just benefiting from all of this. Like Cameron truly is a pawn.
Cameron has said, I feel like I haven't seen him all week. He said no words to anybody. Nobody's talking about him. He's just kind of like existing. He's not a part of anything. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Aside from that conversation with Felicia, that was the most I saw of him. And that was just in the episode.
Yeah.
It's almost like the conversation's not even about him. Meanwhile, he's on the block.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, I do like Jag. So I'm glad that he won the POV. I'm glad that he won it, and our final nominations are Cameron and Heisem.
Yeah, take him out of the equation. I like.
Yeah, like I want Heisem to go, but if somehow things flipped and Cameron went instead, like I still wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't be
Cameron
upset. I would not be upset.
I'd be fine with that too. I'm fine with that too. You know, we like Jag in this house. We like Jag.
Yeah.
But I definitely stand to take a hit this week. There are no other options. I am losing one. Which means Gina's team is the last one to take a hit.
I love my team. I can't stress that enough.
Actually, can we put Gina's team up again? I think, honestly, at this point, I think the person that's most in danger, and not really for any reason on your team, Gina, is
Nicole.
Bowie.
Oh.
I actually think it's Bowie. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter about people
how she's a snake,
not getting along with Bowie. I think Nicole could be at risk somewhere in the near future, but I do think that it's Bowie. But that's the thing. That's that shows how good your team is that I think Bowie is the most at risk, but like there's really no indication that she might go soon either. Or Nicole, honestly. I think Nicole could still last, even if she is at risk, could still last at least a couple more weeks.
I will say
everybody else,
Matt's name does come up, even though they are endeared towards him. I think they do
here and
still
there,
see
but
him as a physical threat, but like
his name has come up, but not enough that I think
again, we're
there's
grasping
like
at
an
straws.
immediate danger.
We're trying to find fault in a great team.
In
and
a perfect team, one
I
might
wouldn't say perfect.
Because I also think
a flawless grouping of players.
Okay,
well, there was something that stood out to me too about Matt on this last episode last night. He had a conversation out in the backyard in the hammock with Suri and Izzy, where they really like had a heart-to-heart, and Matt was talking to them about his experiences. And I don't really see Suri or Izzy targeting him, and I feel like they are two of the biggest players on the other side of the house. So like I think that Suri and Izzy would target, even though Matt's name has come up, I don't know that he would necessarily be in danger.
Which, on a sidebar, I this is not really like related to like targets or anything like that, but I saw a conversation between America and Matt, and America was talking about like BB Twitter and like the social medias of it all or whatever. And she was like, "Oh yeah, like I deleted my, Instagram account and my social media like before I came in here." And Matt said, "Oh, you deleted your social media? How did they get you to come on the show?" And she went, "Oh, I applied." And he went, "Oh, okay." Which leads everybody to believe that Matt is a recruit, which makes it a billion times worse that CBS is handling everything with Matt the way they're handling it, because they went out of their way to
get
find
him.
and recruit him.
That's
Yeah.
100. Yeah, you're totally right. I will say, if I can give CBS a tiny shred of credit,
What?
of all the recruits that they've gotten, Matt might be one of the best.
Oh, I love him dearly.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
All right.
he's
get it
great.
together.
I give them credit for finding Matt and wanting him to be on the show and him coming on, because I really have been enjoying watching Matt.
Also, justice for Matt.
But
justice for
you're right
Matt,
though. You're right that
justice
it's
for
a
Matt,
crime that they
because
haven't accommodated him more.
I saw so much on the feeds of people being like, "Yo, Matt is crazy. Can you believe that he made a shrine to Riley after she got evicted?" And now he's sitting here crying. Wow, Matt's crazy. He did not even know this girl that long. Riley left the Q-tip heart on her way out as a little gift for Matt to find. Matt did not make a shrine to her. Justice for Matt. Leave my boy alone.
Aw.
Yeah. And again, I don't think, listen, Matt might have had feelings for Riley and been attracted to her, but I also don't think that is really the full story.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, the reason that Matt was so was so drawn to Riley was because she was one of the few people in there that made sure he always knew what was going on, because we know that he is not always able to hear everything that everybody's saying when they're whispering in the corners of the house. Like it goes beyond any sort of romantic feelings. It's just a feeling of safety, of being like, I can't hear everything that people are saying. I don't always know what's going on, but Riley was the one person that always made sure that I was filled in,
Was considerate
and made me
to
feel
his-
secure. Yeah, like it's not about, and I did see some of that on Twitter about Matt building this shrine, which we know is not actually true. He didn't build that shrine. Like, but and the other thing too is, Matt has this issue with his hearing, but also, like, I've really been enjoying seeing how this very physical, strong man, who's this athlete at the very highest level, is willing to be vulnerable, and like, he's very sensitive. He's very caring. Like, the fact that he was talking to Sari and Izzy about how his own disability has made him, feel more caring towards other people in his everyday life outside of this house before he was ever on TV, because now he's going to be a celebrity, Matt. You know what I mean? Like, he is. But before all that, like, his own life experiences made him, feel like he needed to be more of a caring person, because people go through, they go through things in life. Everybody has struggles, and he's had his own struggles. And like that's one of the things that's so endearing about Matt to me, is that, like, people might look at him in the outside world and just see Matt, and he's this big, strong guy. He's an attractive guy. So they think he's some kind of like meathead or something like that. But it's like, no, like, Matt has so much more depth to him. And like, I've really enjoyed getting to know Matt and seeing Matt on this show. And I'm so glad that CBS cast him on this season. Even if he was a recruit. Like, I know sometimes we talk bad about the recruits that come on the show. Even if he was that, I think this season is so much better off for having Matt on it than it would have been if he wasn't on it. So
yes, Kyle.
No, I agree. It's hard to follow that. Like, how do you come out of that? I just don't know what to say. But yeah, okay, agreed. And Liz agrees. So everyone's in agreement. All right. I mean, I also don't have anything else.
I don't think I do either. It's just whoever's got their finger on the button of cutting feeds and bringing them back up. Just remember, we pay for these. We pay for live feeds. Please
And
show us the
some
things that
people
we're waiting
also
on seeing,
don't, though,
please.
now that they're on
Okay,
Pluto
that's great.
TV.
A lot of us still do. So when we're waiting all day long for the aftermath of the veto, please bring it back up, please. We're paying for it. Thank you.
Yeah. I also do think, like, Luke obviously said and did something that was horrible. I know that CBS probably doesn't want to draw any more attention to that, but, like, come on. Every time he's mentioned, you're going to cut the feeds. Like,
Well,
we need to
that
see the
one I
full
do
context of
wonder-
everything. Like I'm sorry.
I do
like,
wonder if that is some kind of a contractual something, because I know there are people who, like, you know, there are people who go on the show and not everybody in their life has signed whatever paperwork to, like, be willing to be talked about on the feed. So if somebody is being talked about that hasn't, like, signed off on being talked about, they'll cut feeds for that too. So I do wonder if, because he was expelled, if there was some kind of, like, exit paperwork of, like, you're not allowed to talk about me on feeds anymore type deal. Like, I do wonder about the
Yeah.
legality of that.
I get that. I get it. I do get that. It's disappointing though, because it's like you were on
of
the
course.
show, so like we should be able to hear about you and whatever impact, bad or good, you had on the show, we should be able to hear about. Like, but I understand why that might be an issue. But
Mhm. Yeah, I
just
speculation, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it could be. I never thought about that.
But the aftermath of the veto ceremony, there's no excuse.
No, we absolutely have to see that.
Mhm.
That would be the only reason to have taken it down then. You know?
Especially because
nobody was talking
when
about
I-
Luke during that period of time.
That conversation that I was talking about where Felicia started going in on Jag, literally nothing had happened all day long. It was just like boring little conversation here and there. Felicia goes in guns a-blazing, feeds cut, all 4 cams in a completely different room. And it's like, what? So right now, you're going to cut the feeds out of this room?
Right.
Why are all 4 cameras on the kitchen when they're in the freaking have-not room? Show me that room. Bring me back there. Bring one camera
really.
back there.
It's the whole reason why we're watching.
Yeah.
Like something interesting and exciting finally happens, and you're like, I wonder what's happening in the pool. It's like, no, I want that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's lame.
Yeah.
But
well, I can't wait for how the rest of the week plays out. We still have, that's the thing. Like, I love these streams, by the way, because we've only gotten one real episode so far this week. Everything else is from the feeds and the spoilers and all that.
Mhm.
But like, we are still Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday away from eviction. There's so much that could still happen. And
this
I feel
house
like
is
it's
just
already
chaotic
been-
enough that it is going to happen.
it's already been so crazy this week, and we're still 3 days away from the eviction. Like, I cannot wait. I just hope we get like an accurate edit. I definitely need to pay more attention to the feeds to see what's going on, but I feel like this week's going to be crazy. The feeds are going to be crazy this week.
So definitely give us plenty to talk about while we're actually streaming on Thursday at 11:15 as we're watching Pressure Cooker play out.
Hell
So we're going to
yeah.
get to recap all of those things that'll be happening on the feeds and then some.
Yeah.
And definitely hang out for that. Yeah. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we're out of here. You know, you can find us in the socials at Strat Chat Pod. Find that TikTok thing that Gina keeps talking about. You know, apparently
That
it's all the
TikTok
rage.
thing.
That TikTok
Yeah.
thing, like whatever
It's
it
not a
is.
We got,
TikTok.
we got the same name on there as we got everywhere else, and we're having a great time.
Apparently it's very cute over there. So go check us out. And tell a friend and all that, share the love.